Hello and welcome to week 6 of CNET52. Let me go over a couple things that we'll encounter this week. First up, here's the video I'm recording right now. Week 6 is PowerPoint, which is this week is all about installing an operating system. So you can look that over. And then week 6 discussion. Remember, you have to respond by Wednesday to the initial posts and then 2 peer responses by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Right. I also have a study guide since the midterm's coming up in 2 weeks. Some students like to take a look at that before then. And then this week's lab. So this week's lab is going to be a report. So unlike the previous labs where we have worked on the virtual machines, this week we're going to go to a couple different sites. So, and then I want you to summarize and determine, based on whatever environment you choose, determine what deployment system you would recommend. All right. So this is a report. It's still worth 20 points. And I want you to be explain the application you chose and why, and then run it through the spell checker right on Microsoft Word to make sure there are no grammar or spelling or punctuation errors. Because although this isn't an English class, you still have to be an effective communicator with writing. All right. And then that will be due next Thursday at 11:59. So you'll have a whole week to perform this. All right. So you can come in on Thursday and work on it in the lab. And if you don't finish in that time period, you can continue to work on it the rest of the week. Okay. The other thing I wanted to do is, of course, there's quiz 6, right? In week 6, we have quiz 6, which is the same as it's always been. And but I do want to look at last week's lab. So let me go into assignments and lab 6, speed grader. And I want to just select a, sorry, this is the wrong week. And I just want to pick one lab that was done really well. All right, so let me open this lab and so this person got everything correct, and some of you missed a few points in here because you didn't really answer the question, or you provided the wrong screenshot or a screenshot that didn't make sense. So for example, here's the answer to the views. Here's a screenshot that shows the content view. All right. And then it said paste the screenshot that shows these checkboxes. So I wanted to see these checkboxes. Some of you attached some other screenshot that didn't show that. So you got to follow the directions correctly. All right. And then here's the screenshot after you restore the defaults. And then I ask you what folder is missing, and it's the program data. And then here's a screenshot that shows disk 1 and then the status. Is it what file system? So some of you missed some of these questions. So be careful when you go through the lab to not go through it so fast that you miss stuff. Okay. And then here's showing where the X drive is now FAT32. Some of you, for whatever reason, you didn't look at this screen here where it says file system FAT32, and you made your X drive and NTFS partition, which is not what I wanted. Now Z drive is NTFS. Then I wanted to see the Z and the X drive in this PC section. And then these folders, and I tell you, note, some folders are inside of the previous folder. So you have Win 10, and then you have Week 5 inside of Win 10, Lab 5 inside of Week 5, and then CNET52 inside of Lab 5. And it should look like this. So, and I wanted to see that for both the X drive, and then I said repeat that for the Z drive, which the easiest way to do that is just drag it, copy it from the X drive to the Z drive, or you could just go create them again and then show a screenshot there. Okay, and then the same thing with CentOS. Answer the questions. I asked you, explain based on the output from long list, how is it shown compared to LS? So LL is the long listing, LS is just listing. And there are a couple ways you could answer this, right? This person said provides additional details, such as permissions, number of links, owner group, file size. So very specific to that, whereas LS doesn't show any of that. And then there was some more information here. And most of you got all of these correct. Again, I wanted you to click on the Z drive, then anywhere in this white space, right click, open a terminal, and it should have taken you to the localhost Z drive. And then if you created those folders correctly, you'll see this tree again. And then with the Mac, we went in and I wanted to see the disk utility. You can see we have the disk here, but it doesn't have a name yet because it's not partitioned and doesn't have a high level format on it yet. Okay, then you run it first aid, and then you partition it, and then it shows up, and now you have the Z drive, right? We gave it a label, and then it should show up on your desktop. And then finally, you show me the get info. And if you notice on all of these, so I'll just go back to CentOS. I asked you, what is the native file system for each operating system? Well, it tells us this is ext for CentOS. NTFS is the native file system for Windows. And then right here, this get info tells us the format is macOS extended journal. So here we go, NTFS, ext4, and then HFS Plus, which is the same name as the Mac extended journal. Some of you probably just Googled this and you got NTFS, ext4, which another name for that is XFS. And then you put Apple file system, which is not true. So be careful. You know, when I ask these questions, I want you to reflect back in this week's lab where you saw that. So if you had paid attention here, it's right here, macOS extended journal. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk about this week. And I'll see you on Thursday for lab.